fast crash course of things. So what I'm gonna do is okay, so basically I'll factor, I will always do plug in -4 in there to see what happened. A lot of you guys don't tend to plug in -4, but if I plug in -4, I'm gonna get 4 minus -4, -4 squared minus 16. And that's gonna give me 8/0. If 8/0, that means there is gonna be two choices, infinity or negative infinity. If it reach -4, then you're gonna have possible choice of does not exist as well. So then I have to go in to investigate. So for me, that if number over 0 is gonna get two choices. You should not get any values. You should get infinity or negative infinity. But I'm gonna simplify this. So it's limit x approach to -4 of negative x minus 4, and I'll factor out x minus 4 and x plus 4, and that's simplified down to -1 over x plus 4, and I will have a limits x approach to -4, sorry, I really need some more room, x approach to -4 from the left. Okay. So now if I plug in -4, I'm gonna get number over 0. So either is a positive infinity or negative infinity again. So therefore I need to plug in -4 from the left. So -4 of -4.1 plus 4 is equal to negative over negative equal to positive infinity. And the answer is a positive infinity. This one is actually the most common missed one throughout the whole test.
I see what I did. When instead of making it negative x plus 4, I forgot to make the 4 negative, so I did negative x plus 4 instead of negative x minus 4. So the wrong one canceled out, and I got -1/8. Because then the bottom doesn't become 0. And
Right.
so I didn't test it afterwards, because I thought it came through.
You test at the very beginning, though.
Yeah, at the very beginning I tested it, and I got 8/0. And so then I tried to simplify it, and I got I just did it wrong, so I accidentally got a number instead of a number
test back?
0.
Okay. Look at this.
I should have slowed down, because it looks like all this stuff I messed up on, I was just like freaking out that I was going to run out of time.
A lot of time is just need to slow down and think about things. So a lot of time that you need to learn how to breathe and to just kind of control to be the pace of the game. It's like you running cross country. You're not trying to rush through the whole thing. You just try to be calm and take your pace on the time and find the way that you can bottle. So the next question is, a lot of people thought that's a sine x over x trig limit issue, but the problem is they told you is trig limit x approach to 0. So therefore it's gonna be sine of pi over 3 times pi over 3. And this 3 will cancel, and sine of pi over 3 equal to square root of 3 over 2 over pi, and that's equal to square root of 3 over 2 divided by pi, so divided by pi, so that means square root of 3 over 2 times pi, like this, so square root of 3 over 2 pi, and that's the answer.
Yep.
Now this one, I won't plug in things. I will try to factor it because I think it's a factorable on the top. It looks like it's factorable, and looks like one of the factor is probably going to be 3x plus 2. And so for me, like, I will plug in, but I will figure like the time I'm going to use to plug in is going to waste too long. So I'm going to say, let's choose an alternative route. Let's factor this. Maybe something I can cancel, that would be nice, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor this. I'm going to factor where is, I'm going to factor this, so it'll be a box method. A lot of people don't choose to use a box method, but it's a really good method. So 3x and 4x, and then I'm going to do 2 and 3. But that's not going to work out, so I'm going to flip this to 3 and 2. So this one's going to be 9x and 8x. And which one need to be negative?
The -9.
Yep, so, and this one has to be 9, so it'll be 4x minus 3 times 3x plus 2.
Yep.
All over 3x plus 2. And that's nice because this actually removal discontinuity here, and x approach to negative 2 over 3, and this cancel out. That's 4 times negative 2 over 3 minus 3. So that's equal to negative 8 over 3 minus 9 over 3, so it'll be negative 17 over 3.
Please exit the school campus now.
Nice.
And that's the way I would choose to do things. Now, the next one is a lot of people just not being impatient. This one, if you plug in 3, it's going to give you 0 over 0. So we know the answer is going to be some type of number. So then I'm just going to say limit x approach to 3. And I'm going to do something called conjugate. And a lot of people did conjugate correctly. They just didn't know how to finish it. So this is going to be square root x plus 1 minus 2 plus 2 actually. Square root x plus 1 plus 2. A lot of people did this part. And then go back and I will say it's a plus b and a minus b. So it'll be x plus 1, right? Minus 4 actually, because 2 squared is going to be minus 4. So it'll be x plus 3 and x minus 3. I factor that. And I put a parenthesis on this one. A lot of people don't forget about parenthesis. And that's very, very useful information. It's a parenthesis. Now, x plus 1 minus 3. Can I change that to x minus 3? Does that make sense? So I change that to x minus 3.
Oh, I see.
And the x minus 3 will cancel out and left 1. A lot of people forget about cancel. You put a 1. Because some people get an answer of 24. I should take out completely everything, but I was trying to be nice. So 3 plus 3, now I plug in the limits. And then 3 plus 1, so it'll be 4 plus 2. And that's equal to 1 over 6 times 4. That's equal to 1 over 24. Some people got an answer of 24. They just cancel out on top, and they just got...
Oh, I see what they did. Because
Yeah.
they forgot that there's a 1 on
They
top.
forgot a 1. So every time I cancel out something, I write a 1. And the something is a very good habit. Is even I still do it, and I've been teaching for a long time. And I still do it because I don't want to mess up. Because sometimes I'll mess up and I got 24, then that'll be like really embarrassing, right? So I rather write down that 1, and that's very, very valuable. Okay, so now the next one here, this x approach to 4. Now that means you have to approach 4 to both sides. So then I have to choose both sides. So I'm going to explain this again. At 1, 2, 3, 4, here and here. It's going to be x minus 4, and here is going to be minus x minus 4. So therefore, I'm going to say limit x approach to 4. Because I plug in 4, I get 0 over 0. And we say, according to that chart, is 0 over 0, the absolute value is going to be piecewise functions. So I have to do a piecewise function. So I'm going to do 4 left, and I'm going to do using the negative functions. And there's a 4 to the right, and that's going to use positive functions. And those will cancel out, those will cancel out, this is equal to negative 1, this is equal to 1. So therefore, limit x approach to 4, absolute value x minus 4 over x minus 4, that's equal to does not exist. Because the left side does not equal to right side, it's actually a jump discontinuity. If you graph this at 4, you're going to have something like this. And if you graph it, you're going to see it very, very clearly. It's going to be discontinuity. You have to, if it's approaching a single number, you have to approach it from both sides to decide that. A lot of people didn't do this one, which is I was kind of disappointed because this one is just adding fractions. So it'll be 1 over x plus 4, 1 over 4 minus over x. And that's why in your algebra test, there's a adding fraction part, and it's on your part of your test. So I'm going to multiply x plus 4 over x plus 4, and multiply this side by 4 over 4. And on the top is going to be equal to limit x approaches 0 of 4 times x plus 4, and it's going to be 4 minus x plus 4, but again, parentheses is going to be the key. Your best friend is going to be a parentheses. and the limit x approaches 0 for, that's gonna just give me a negative x over 4 times x plus 4, and that's gonna be times 1 over x. X will cancel. You plug in 0, it's gonna be negative 1 over 4 times 0 plus 4, equal to negative 1 over 16. Does that make sense?
I just forgot the negative.
Oh, I didn't take out everything, did I?
Oh, yeah, it's +3.
Plus 3 is half. I give you half.
It should have been 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's reasonable because you didn't get it right, but also you did the work, so I give you half credits. Stone, do you have any questions? Did you get this one right, Stone? Okay. Zach, did you get this one right? Green?
I got close. I got all the way up to negative x over. See, I did a conjugate to begin with.
Oh, you don't need a conjugate when you're trying to combine fraction. That was the third choice. I have a 0 over 0. It says combine fractions.
Yeah. So I went a really long route, and I did make it to negative x over 4 times x plus 4. But I did something wrong. I think
Hopefully you know what I'm trying to ask you. The squeeze theorem. I'm trying to.
Orange juice.
Seriously, you didn't know that? You didn't know the hint?
I purely just guessed 0. And
Oh.
I kind of thought it was squeeze theorem, but I did not guess the hint.
Okay, squeeze theorem is just figure out the cosine of x. Just pick this part is less than negative 1 and 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by phi over 3x because I want to make the middle function look like this one. So I'm going to multiply everything by phi over 3x. So it'll be negative phi over 3x less than 5 cosine of x over 3x and less than phi over 3x. And what happened is I'm going to limit x approach to infinity. If limit approach to infinity, if the bottom number is bigger, so negative phi over a big number, so limit as x approach to infinity of negative phi over 3x is equal to negative phi over infinity, which is equal to 0. Limit x approach to infinity of phi over 3x, that's also phi over infinity, that's also equal to 0. Therefore, limit x approach to infinity of 5 cosine of x over 3x is also equal to 0. So if you just write down 0, I cannot give you credit, unfortunately. You have to justify for me that how you can become 0, but I give you 1 point just because you knew it was 0. I mean, that's very fair. Yes?
So why is phi over infinity 0?
Phi over infinity. Think about phi over 10. Phi over 10 is 1/2, right? Phi over 100 is 1 over 20. Phi over 1,000 is going to be getting smaller and smaller. Phi over 10,000, phi over 100,000. So the number is going to get smaller and it's going to go towards 0 as it goes to infinite. Sydney, do you have any question? You're just going to shake your head and you're going to nod your head and you're not going to talk to me. Are you sure? Okay, at least you say yes. Okay, so the next one is a trig limits because x approaches 0. So at this case, it's going to be limit x approaches 0 of sine of 3x times sine of 3x over. Wait, Derek did not show up. Derek did not show up. I kind of ruined everybody's extra credit now.
Just pretend he did show up. Actually, just give him like take the credit away from him. Just like take his grade, give it to us.
Ooh, Derek did not show up. I didn't remember that. I didn't see Derek. Zach, did you see Derek today?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing Derek.
Okay, so I'm gonna have 1 over 4 here to make that happen. So I needed this part to be a 3. I need this part to be a 3. So in order 3 times 3 is 9, so I'm gonna multiply this by 9 over 9. Okay, If I multiply this by 9 over 9, that's equal to limit x approaches 0 of sine of 3x over 3x times sine of 3x over 3x times, that's going to be 9 over 4 because you move this 9 to be here and here. And that's going to be 9 over 4. So 9 over 4 is your final answer.
I was so close. I don't know why. For some reason, I thought the 4 was squared as well, so I did 1 over 4 times 1 over 4.
This one you should not miss. I think a lot of people miss this one.
That one I
But
thought
E
it was
is
funny.
a straight line. E is 2.712a. So if you write down 712a, it's fine. But limit as x approach to pi of E is equal to E.
I was like,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
felt
yeah.
so easy. I was like, this is, I did something wrong. Like maybe E has Y in it somewhere.
I
and
got
I
all
just
the
don't
hard
know.
questions right and the easy
I knew
questions
you were
wrong.
gonna get like one of those.
Mr. Ye, for H, why would you do 1 over 4 and why not 1 over 16? Because it's squared.
Because 4 is not squared.
Yeah, 4 is not square. It's only an x
Oh.
is square. 4 is not square.
Next,
Okay.
And I take it outside anyway, so. So if you multiply out the bottom, it's 4 times x, equal to 4x squared.
Mr. Ye, next time we have a test, could you have like a clock up so I could see how much time I have left? Because the thing was, I rushed through this and I finished it like 6 minutes early because I thought I was gonna run out of time. And then like all the questions, I got so close to getting them right, but I just like didn't finish or I, you know,
Yeah, I'll just remind me of.
Okay.
I don't mind.
like if you just put like a clock up on the whiteboard or
Yeah.
smartboard.
Limit a horizontal asymptote, so it'll be limits as x approach to infinite of this function, which is 9x squared plus 4x over 8 minus 5x. And limit x approach to infinity of 9x squared plus 4x over 8 minus 5x. So I'm gonna reach negative infinity on the second part, sorry. So definition of absolute value is a definition of horizontal asymptote is reach infinity and negative infinity. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna divide each thing. We're gonna say this divided by square root x squared. So let me write it out a little bit more so that way you can see more space. So I'm gonna write out this one, and I'm gonna divide it by 8 minus 5x. Okay, so I'm gonna divide it by everything by square root of x. And divided by x here, divided by x here, divided by x here, divided by x here, divided by negative square root x squared. So that's the work you're supposed to show me. But turns out that this part will just cancel out. And it will left with the 9. So it'd be square root of 9. 4 over x, because 4 over x is going to go to 0, so it'd be 4 plus 0 here. And this one's going to be negative 5. So that's equal to 3 over negative 5. And then this part is going to become negative, so it'll be negative 3 over negative 5. So that's equal to 3 over 5. So you're going to have two horizontal asymptote. One is approach infinity, one is approaching negative infinity. Negative infinity, you have to add a negative sign. But don't forget the square root of 9. I think Stone forgot the square root of 9, right?
Oh,
I didn't finish the question.
You did?
I
forgot?
I thought I finished the question, but I didn't.
It looks like I forgot square root of 9, but I didn't. What I did is I did the square root of 9x squared over x, but then I just canceled out the squared and the square root. But you can't do that because 9 isn't squared, it's just the x.
Yeah.
So,
F of x is continuous here. You should write the statement to really get the full amount of credit. But I usually give it to you guys if you can justify that to endpoint. So f of x is continuous. And f of 0, I'm going to plug in the endpoint. So e to the 0 minus 2, that's equal to 1 minus 2 equal to negative 1. F of 2 is equal to e to the 2 minus 2. Well, e to the 2, let's just say e, just like e is like 2 squared, but it's bigger than 2. So e is equal to 2.7128, 7718. So, you know, just think about it's 2 squared, then you still get, 2 squared minus 2, it's still positive. It's still gonna give me 2. But it's probably more closer to like 7 or 8
It's like 2.
instead of 4. But, even you do 3 squared, it's gonna be 3 squared minus 2, that's equal to, it's still positive, doesn't matter. So it's between 2 and 3, so your value is always positive regardless what happened. So 9 minus 2 is 7. So either it's -1 to 7 or -1 to 2. It has to go to 0. So therefore there must be a 0. Because you got f of 0 less than 0 less than f of 2. Right? Because the statement occurred. Non-remote discontinuity is a vertical asymptote. So something vertical asymptote is cosine square of x minus cosine of x minus 2. I'm going to have to take a cosine of x minus 2 times cosine of x plus 1 is equal to 0. Because when bottom equal to 0 isn't defined. Now cosine of x equal to 2 on this case, cosine of x equal to -1 on this case. Therefore, it does not, this one doesn't work because cosine never equal to 2. But cosine of x does equal to -1. The x is on unit circle. So on which part of unit circle is going to give me -1?
When it's facing the left, so it's a pi.
It's a pi. And that was the only answer. But if you want a correct answer completely, is pi plus m 2m pi. Because it just keep on cycle back the same locations. So this one would be a better answer than just a pi. But if you got pi, I'll give you full credit.
Wait, so you got cosine x equals -1, and then you plug this is
So he treated cosine like it was a variable, because if you do that, you can factor really easy. So after factoring, he said both of those equal to 0, and then he did some algebra. So cosine of x was equal to -1, and cosine of x was also equal to 2. But cosine can never equal 2, because it's not a value on the unit circle.
yes.
So he only had to do cosine equals -1.
So did you just like realize that pi would go into x, or did you like divide by cosine?
No, I don't divide by cosine. I think about cosine of which value is going to give you
Yeah, just
-1.
thought about it?
Yeah, you have to think about unit circle. On unit circle at a pi, cosine of pi on this side is going to give you -1.
I'm just making sure.
Okay. No, it's okay. It's a good question. It's great questions. F of x is equal to what? F of x, well, f of x is defined. Sorry, the first one is defined. Okay, A. B, limit x approach to A of f of x must exist. And C is limit x approach to A of f of x must equal to f of A. Sorry, this one's A. So pretty much the C is left side equal to right, what is thing. So let's think about that logistically. So let's just say if I have an A. Well, f of A must define as a solid dot. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And the limit x approach that point must exist. Well, could I have going like this? Like this? Limit still exists in this case?
Yeah.
But the problem is not continuous.
So the limit has to be equal to the actual value.
Exactly. So you have to lower this to say, okay, well, what if I create something like this? Now it's equal to each other. So therefore, C is telling you not only A is defined, limit has to exist, they must equal to each other to make it continuous. So there are those three conditions. The fourth condition is gonna, this one's horizontal asymptote and vertical asymptote. First of all, let's do vertical asymptote. E to the x denominator equal to 0. This is the second time I asked the same questions. One is asked non-removable. So this one's -8. Sorry, let me do that properly because I'd rather do things properly done. So plus 8 equal to 0. -4 e to the x equal to -8. E to the x equal to 8.
It's equal to
E to the x equal to 2. So you can natural log both sides. If you natural log on both sides, x equal to natural log of 2. I think Sydney forgot to natural log on both sides. You can only get ex equal to 2, right? So I grade a lot of people actually remember each person's mistakes. Like only grade once. And I can know like where they forget something. So it was, you know,
Impressive.
limit x, I don't remember people's name, but I remember the stupid stuff like this. So limit approach to infinity of 6e to the x plus 2 over negative 4e to the x plus 8. So I'm going to divide it by e to the x on all of them. Because when I reach infinity, I'm going to divide it by highest degree in denominator. So that's equal to limit, I might run out of room, x approach to infinity. And that's going to be 6 plus 2e to the x over negative 4 plus 8 over e to the x. So anything on denominator is going to reach really, really huge number. That's going to be 6 over negative 4 because this part I'll go to 0. This part I'll go to 0. So that's how you get negative 3 over 2. Yes?
Why do you keep saying like we'll reach a really huge number? Isn't it?
Because look at this.
Yeah, I understand.
Limit x approach to infinity.
Is there like another like number that this would apply to? Like that it would be that the limit could go to where it'd still be 0?
Longer something over x. Something over x or square root x, some x to some type of power, or e to the x in this case. Longer something variables on the bottom, if they reach infinity. So limit as x approach to infinity of any number over x to the any power. Could be x to the 1/3 power still, because the bottom's still gonna go to infinity large. Okay, so it's always go to 0. Okay. Now we need to one more. The last one, usually people have hard time finding. Hi, Sarah. X approach to negative infinity of 6e to the negative infinity plus 2 over negative 4e to the negative infinity plus 8. Now e to the negative infinity is going to be, this is e to the x graph. If I reach negative infinity, guess what? This all go to 0. So this part is going to go to 0. This part is going to go to 0. So if that part goes to 0, the answer is just going to be 2 over 8, which is 1 over 4. Sarah, you come back? Okay. Let me see if I have your test. If I have your test, I'll give it to you. Yep. Here. We are going through it.
So, what I did is, you know the one where you approach infinity, the 6e over 6ex over ex, like that whole thing. What I did is after I simplified it, I tried just plugging in negative infinity into that, but then it would be 0, 0, and then the e and the x would still cancel out, and it would still be 6 over negative 4. So how'd you know that you had to do the other one?
Well, the reason why, if you on a denominator, right, that just says 6 plus 2 over e to the x, right? Now, if I reach negative infinity, then it's going to be 2e to the negative infinity.
Okay.
So that's actually going to, you know, it's actually, that's not going to work out. So the best part is to work out is just plug it straight into infinity, into original equation, and think about e to the x graph. Then you don't have to think about a lot of things.
Right.
So, you know, you're a very visual person. If you go to negative infinity, that's just automatically going 0. So any e to the x term is all just going to go straight to the 0. So therefore, it's just going to be 2 over 8, which is 1 over 4.
Right, that makes sense.
I don't know if I have time to go through this, but I'll try. Limit x approaching infinity, negative infinity. This one is going to go here, but it's always going to reach 2 in this case. And negative 1 from the left. Negative 1 from the left is going to be, this is negative 1 from the left. It's going to go to negative infinity. Okay. 0 from the plus. Well, 0 from the plus is reach this end, like this. And look at the output. What is the output? If I reach from that side, if I reach from this way, 0 plus, huh? -1, good. And if I reach 1, well, 1's right here. What do you say? Well, what do I know? Well, 1 is like just half,
You know-
negative half.
You know 0 and 2, so you know that when x is equal to 0, y is -1, and when x is equal to 2, then y is 1. So you just find value in the middle because it's got to be a slope because it's a straight line.
Yep. F of 2, then just look at a 2 where the solid dot is. The solid dot is going to give you a 2 right here because this is a solid dot right here. Now, when limit x approach 2, you have to look at both ends. You cannot just approach one end and say that's 2. So if you approach both ends, this is actually it's equal to a very, very nice does not exist because they both not come into the same value. Okay. Sydney, do you understand this part? Because this part is the part that you put them infinity. So, but do you understand? If you have a question, you gotta ask now.
I understand.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay, so if you understand, can you tell me what limit x approach to phi is?
Maybe
What?
1.
No. Think again. You try again. It's okay. F of 5 is 1. So let's look at the solid dots. So what's limit x approach to 5? Don't know? Okay, Zach, can you help her?
So, this one you have to look at where the limits come from the left side and the right side. And then if they come to the same point together, then it's gonna be who's the most famous one? Yeah, it's gonna become like an actual value, but for like at 2, they don't come to the same point.
So does it does
it's
not
gonna
exist.
But since those come to the same point, even though that it's like displaced like point lengths up, it's still the limit is -3.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, what is the f of 5? 1. Now is equal to 1. How about limit x approach to 9 plus? This is a 9 right here. 9 from the plus side, what do you think it is?
Does not exist.
Well, be careful. They still equal go into the value. So what the value is?
1.
1. Good. Now limit x approach to 9 does not exist because they reach from both ends. They come out different value. But 9 plus does go to a open circle. That open circle still can define as limits if we just do one side. Okay. F of 9 is going to be what? Sarah, the other Sarah?
Is it 0 because that's where the solid dot is?
Good, because this is solid dot. Do you see this is solid dot right here? And limit x approach to 9.
Rivera Perez, front desk is Rivera Perez.
Can you look at mine?
Sean?
Yep.
Limit x approach to 9 is what?
It was does not, x approaches to 9. Yeah, it should be does not exist.
It does not exist because of here and here. Yeah, you had to go?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Okay.
Have a good day.
I'll put a points on here.
Huh?
I put a points on there. You will have 70.
Really? That's so sick. Thank you.
No problem. You didn't improve a lot, so
Yeah. I think I just have like a clock on the next test. I'll slow
just
down.
remind me. It's okay.
Yeah.
Limit x upon 2 plus. Well, 2 plus f of x in this case. F of x is 2 plus from the left side is going to be 3 on the top. And f of 2 is a solid dot right here, which is 2. And that's it. So this is how to go through this part. Now the next part is gonna be the limit part, limit question. I might need more room with that. So I'm gonna start with the limits as x approach to, well, I'm gonna do 2 is the breaking point right here. So 2. So 2 from the left of ax squared plus x minus b is equal to limit x approach to 2 plus of ax plus b. So 2, that's going to be 4a plus 2 minus b is equal to 2, so it'll be 2a plus b. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So then that's going to be, I'm subtract the 2a over, so it'll be 2a. And I'm subtract b to minus 2b. And I move 2 to the other side, it will be negative 2. Sean, you okay? Did you get this one right, Sean?
Yeah, I got this one.
Good. Now limit x approach to, I'm going to approach to 5 now. 5 on the left. 5 on the left is ax plus b equal to limit x approach to 5 on the right of 2ax minus 7. So 5a plus b is equal to 5 times 2 will be 10a minus 7.
Why did you put -2 on the other side?
Because I like to a and b on one side, and I like constant on the other side, so I can do elimination instead of substitution. I just don't prefer substitution until it's higher level questions, so I prefer eliminations. So I'm moving this a to the right side this time. I have 5a minus b is equal to 7. So I move 5a to be positive. And now I'm going to have multiply this by 2. If I multiply this by 2, or negative 2 actually, so I will get negative 10a plus 2b is equal to negative 14. And then I will write this on the bottom, 2a minus 2b is equal to negative 2. So it'll be negative AA is equal to negative 16, A is equal to 2. Now I'm going to plug it back in there, plug it into here. So it'll be 2 times 2 minus 2, B equal to negative 2. So it'll be negative 2B is equal to, subtract 4, it'll be negative 6. B is equal to 3. Are we okay here? Okay. And then I'm going to go say limit x approach to 3. So x approach to 3 is actually pretty interesting because you had to pick correct function. You had to pick this function because 3 is between 2 and 5. So then limit x approach to 3 of ax plus b, but we already had a is 2x plus 3. Does that make sense? And I just plug in 3 in here. It's super easy. Is equal to 9, but you had to get the first part correctly. So this is a b. And a c is a continuation of that. They say approach to 1. So 1, so do you see that this is limit x approach to 1? Which equation have to use for that?
That'd be the first one.
The first one. So the first one is going to be 2 limit x approach to 1 of 2 x squared plus x minus 3 over x minus 1. If I plug in 1 here, it's going to give you 0 over 0. So I'm going to have to, I know one of the factors is x minus 1. If I do a box method, this one's 2x probably plus 3 over x minus 1. And this one will cancel out. Limit as x approach to 1 is going to be 2 times 1 plus 3. So it's equal to 5. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So is a B and C is a continuation. So that's why I say C is extra credit. B is only give it 2 points here, and C I give it 3 points if you can continue, and because you need a factor and cancel. We are almost done, and I have to go soon. So limit x approach to 1 on f of x. So 1 is going to be f. Approach to 1 is going to give me the value of 2, not 3, because we are approaching, so we look at this direction and this direction. So the output is 2. Sydney, do you understand? You're not even paying attention before. Plus limit x approach to 1 on 4 is 4, so it'd be 6. And 3 from the left, so 3 from the left is going to approach this way. So it's going to be 1, so it'd be 5 over 1, so that's equal to 5. Limit x approach to 2, well, f of x is going to give you 2, and g of x is going to give me 0, so it's actually 0. Now last part, only 4 people of all the 70 students who take it, only 4 people got it correct. I know Anthony Teeter, I know RJ, and I don't remember the other 2 people, but they're pretty good as well. So f of x, if I approach 3 from the left, I'm gonna get on the f of x, 3 from the left is gonna give you 0. Does that make sense? 0. And g of x, if I approach 3 from the left, is 1 minus 1. So it's 0 over 0. So it's indeterminate. So that means there's something math I could do. And the math is kind of think about graphic approach. So how do I look at graphic approach? They say assume f of g and linear on interval 2 and 3. So what happened is I know this one here, I can extend this line. And I can extend this line. So that becomes y equal to negative 2x, because it's down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. Do you guys see that? And a plus 6. Does that make sense? And let's look at this function here, g. If I go down 1 more here, it's going to be x plus 2. So g of x is going to be x plus 2 here. So they say limit as x approach 3 from the left. F of x is going to give you negative 2x plus 6. And here it's going to be x plus 2 minus 1. Let me finish. It's okay. X minus 2. Sorry, this is minus 2. This is x minus 2. So it's going to be, that's why I didn't work it out here. So x minus 2. And then you obviously can see that math happening. X approach 3 from the left. It's going to be negative 2 to x minus 3 over x minus 3. And cancel out. That's going to give you negative 2. So a lot of time in math, you have to think about if the equation doesn't work, it's still 0 over 0. If it's 0 over 0, that means I have to do some type of math to make sure it works. And if I do some type of math in this case, it's going to be like this. Because I'm going to go in, extract the equation, and take an equation out, and I can do math from there. But before that, I cannot do it. I got 0 over 0. There's nothing I can do. There's no conjugate. There is no nothing. Math is you have to come up with stuff to solve the problem. Okay? I think you guys stay here is good. We go over the whole test. Sarah, you need to go back to watch the beginning. I recorded.